Hi, welcome to Demo Garage. I'm Steven, and in today's episode I'll be finishing up the wiring harness installation. I just have a couple of little things to fix, so come along with me and I'll show you what I find. Okay, one problem fixed. These were the cheap-ass door jamb courtesy light switches, and after purchasing, I was warned by someone online that they were low quality, and they feel like low quality. Anyway, they stick out too far, and this one was crushed by the door just closing. And yeah, so I was able to put back the original, the original steel one. And I'm not sure why I thought they didn't work, but anyway, that's going to be much better. And that's one thing ticked off. I have a growing list of things. Yeah, so in the same aspect of the courtesy light, they only seem to work when the key is in the on position. So I need to figure out why that is. They should obviously work when the door is open, whether the key is in or not. So knocked the first problem off the list, so I'll bring you back when I have something else to show you. Okay, making some progress. I now have the courtesy lights operating, and you can see that I don't have the key on. It was just a matter of me having pulled power from a keyed power source rather than one that's constant. So this is a block that I had glued on as kind of a custom terminal, and I've run a hot line from the key ignition, and so that's now my positive source there. So that worked out fine. And then another thing I've been playing with is the horn, and that never worked since I've owned the vehicle, and it doesn't appear that my wiring is bad. Let's see, how do I get this? So you can see if I provide ground to that wire, that indicates that my wiring job is correct. And I've been messing around with the horn button, and continuity works out on that. And I've got a new one of these in here. So for some reason, this steering column isn't getting to ground to activate the horn. So I'm going to be following the path of continuity and figure out why this center shaft isn't connected to ground. So I'll bring you back when I got something to show you. Thanks. Okay, another item fixed. First time the horn's ever worked. So it just turned out to be poor ground connections following down the steering shaft. I cleaned everything, but I also added a little piece of wire on both of the U-joints to make sure I had a good connection between, and that's all it took. Let's see, what's the next thing I'm going to work on? I'll bring you back. Okay, so the next thing I need to figure out is the light situation. This light switch has two positions. The first one is supposed to turn on all the parking lights, and then this one is supposed to turn on the headlights. And in this position, I've got all the side marker lights and everything on, but they don't come on in the first position, only when the switch is fully down. So those should be on in this position, and as you can see, they're not. So I'm assuming I need to pop that switch out and check continuity and figure out, I think I just have the terminals in the wrong locations on that switch. So let me figure that out and I'll bring it back and I'll let you know what I figured out. Thanks. Okay, let's see if I can figure this out. This is the switch. I'm assuming it's original to the TVR, and it must have a unique interior in comparison to the ones I've pulled open before. I connected the terminals based on kind of what I know about these from looking inside a few of them. First thing to note is I've got, I assume, a factory connected bridge between these two terminals. These things are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's see, 1 and 4 are soldered together basically. And I kind of assumed that with this 2 position, in this position it'd be off, and this position would connect these 3 with this one and these 3 with this one. But that doesn't appear to be the case because the electrical is not running the way I had expected. So let's figure this out. I've got my multimeter here. I don't know if you can see the display, and turning on an audible signal. Not sure if you can hear that on the audio or not, but it beeps when they're connected. So in this position, I'm assuming it's off. So as these are soldered together, yep, okay, so that, as expected, those 2 are together because they're soldered together, and that appears to be the only contact. So then here's first position. This is when I would expect the parking lights to come on. And obviously, as expected, we've got these 2 connected because of the solder. Okay, nothing here. And we got, okay. So this is the one I should be connecting to my tail lights and parking lights. So now looking here on my wiring diagram, I've got a hot wire coming from all the time. So this fuse cluster is hot all the time. So meaning this one is too, those are bridged. So my hot wire, what N and R is brown and red. So that one should be connected to either 1 and 4. 1 or 4. And then I just determined that in this first position, my tail lights, this one comes here and then goes to this fuse and then connects all my tail lights and stuff. So I should have this one, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I should connect this red and green, yep, red and green to 5. And then in this position, okay, so that's now connected, and that one's still hot. So my tail lights will stay on, and then now I'm introducing the power that comes to the steering column for a headlight. So that's 1, 2. So I need to connect the U is blue, so I need to connect the blue one to number 2. And yeah, so that should be the correct wiring assignment. Let me go ahead and slap this switch back into place, and I shall bring you back and we'll determine if this fixes my issue or not. Thanks. Okay, well, I'm 99% sure this is going to work. Starting outside the vehicle, and you can see the running lights or tail lights are not on. it's in the off position. And so we're gonna try the first switch position. Yeah, okay, so now the panel lights come on, so I'm even more sure that that did what I was hoping. Yep, okay, so tail lights are on, and the headlights should not be on. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. I think I need to replace that bulb. But tail lights are not on, but you can see the side marker, front marker, side marker lights on. Okay, so now if I hit that switch to the second position, those lights should remain on and the headlights should come on. Okay, and I can already see reflected on the back of the RV, and the panel lights are on still. And there's the headlights. All right, so another electrical demon gremlin sorted. Knocking these off. So the next thing I'm going to try and do is see how I miswired the windshield wipers, because that should be working. So let me bring you back when I've sorted on that one. Okay, so this windshield wiper situation is going to be a little more difficult. I kind of assumed that I had plugged these in wrong, but finding an old picture I took back when the wipers were working, I did appear to plug them in correctly. So now I guess this is the switch that I accidentally dropped and bought a new switch from Gray's in England, and then the base is original. You know, all these terminals are original, but I've got new rocker on here, so I'm not really sure how I could have assembled that incorrectly using the new parts in the old base, but I'm assuming that's what's going on here. All these wires are original except for this new power wire. Yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on. I guess I'm going to disconnect this and take this over to the workbench and pull it apart and see if I can't figure out how the switch works. I was surprised by the last switch, so maybe I did something wrong. I'll bring it back. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. The windshield wipers are working now. This is the new switch that I stole the top from, because this is the original upper for the windshield wipers, and you can see it's broken, and I did try and glue it together a couple times. It didn't hold. Anyway, the wiring was connected correctly. What was not correct was that inside the other switch, there are again two of these little contacts that rock back and forth. Now these don't look quite correct because this new switch doesn't have terminals on both sides. So the inside rocker pieces from the windshield wipers looks, you know, it's got an end like this side over here as well. And to the naked eye, you know, first glance, it looks like, you know, on the other one, obviously with the two contacts, it looks like it's a mirror image split down the middle. So, you know, to me it looked like you could put it in this way or this way, and I didn't really notice a difference, but there was a slight profile difference in the bend in the middle. And I had assembled the windshield wiper one with one this direction and one this direction, not realizing that the profile was just slightly different. So I popped it open, tried it first one way and it didn't work, and then I tried it the other way and it is currently working. So let me bring you over and show you what that looks like. So I've got the switch reinstalled per my drawing. And then, I don't know if you can see that windshield wiper going there. And when it turns off, it does self-park. There you see, back on again. No matter what position it's in, turn it off and it self-parks. So there's another win for the wiring. So I'm gonna snap that back in and try and figure out what else I need to work on. I'll bring it back. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna be working on are the tail lights. And I'm not really sure what's going on with them yet. Crawling into the car, and I'm gonna step on the brake now. Now. So they appear to be operating correctly with the switch and the pedal. But now I'm gonna turn on the indicator, or the marker lights. So I've got a bright light that comes on like expected. And now when I step on the brake, now, you're not seeing any difference. So did I wire something wrong? Do I have some sort of weird bulb in there that I'm not really sure. So let me investigate and I'll bring you back when I have something to show you. Okay, so I found the issue. I feel pretty silly about this. The bulb's obviously got two filaments, one for brake and one for normal tail lights. And I made the wrong assumption that the taller, longer, but thinner one would produce more light, and that the shorter, narrower, thicker one was the tail lights. And as you can imagine, that's not correct. I have them flipped. So I need to do a little work and get these wires attached to this base, flipped one for one, and that ought to fix my situation. I got to do that on both sides. So I'll bring you back. Okay, I got this side marker light fixed. It was actually just the connector needed to be reseated, pushed together a little bit. So that's working. And then I thought of one thing that isn't working on the electrical wiring, and this is the windshield washer pump, which is basically because I don't have a reservoir chosen yet. So I'm gonna not worry about that too much. I'm gonna finish that at some future date. I'm gonna put in a couple of riv nuts and secure this harness. No big deal. And then let's see, I've got the tail lights fixed. You can see I've got the running lights on, and so that's both running lights on. And then you'll see me step on the brake here in a second. There you go. Working brake lights, working tail lights. Another item fixed, checked off the list. What else do I have left? Well, let me think about that and I'll come right back. Okay, I found another problem. My backup lights don't work. And I really can't even tell you if they used to work or not. I can't remember. But anyway, so they don't work, so I'm doing some diagnosing. And what I found so far is I am getting power when the key is on. I still need to check continuity from this wire to the back. I had them plugged into this left switch, and then I checked continuity on it when I shifted into reverse, and I had no change. And then I realized, oh shoot, there's one over here. This must be the backup switch. So I'm checking continuity on it and shifting into reverse, and I still don't have anything. And then so I don't know I'm gonna have to do some research because I just assumed one of those was a backup switch, or maybe they don't work, I don't know. And then I'm messing around, and this is the light bulb switch for the reverse. And the bulb works when I put power to it. And I've got continuity between this guy, which is the power, and then down there at the bottom. But I don't have continuity between these prongs and this little guy right here. So this bulb thing currently doesn't have a ground path. So I've got multiple things going on, and I'm not sure how this is supposed to work if these prongs aren't ground. So I'll do some more digging and I'll bring you back when I know something a little bit more. Okay, so here's what I found with this guy. It just appears like it's corrosion. This was flipped over, I pried it out. So where it's supposed to be making contact, I got a bunch of corrosion or rust, and same here. I have bought new ones of these and I tried to install them, and I don't remember, it's been a couple months now, why I didn't end up using the new ones, but I remember them being even worse, brand new from Moss Motors than these. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean these up and put some dielectric grease on it and put it back together and see if that doesn't fix me up. I might be trying to dig through the boxes to see where those bad new ones are. But yeah, so that's what I found. That should be making contact, this face against this face, so I'll bring it back. Okay, I've got this put back together, and I think I was successful in cleaning up that contact. There you go. Okay, so I think this original socket is going to be fine to reinstall. Let me bring it back. Cool, thanks babe. Okay, so you can see the tail lights are currently off. I have checked continuity of the wiring, and now I'm going to apply power to that wire, and ta-da! Backup lights. But we're not quite there yet because, like I said, the switch on the transmission housing doesn't appear to be working. So, and I have determined that it's the left one from Moss Motors diagram. So I guess I'm gonna put a wrench on that and pull it out, and I'll bring you back when I've got something to show you. Thanks. Okay, so here's the switch, and I've already checked the continuity on it. Doesn't work. Also, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make this happen one-handed. So it's kind of intermittent. Every once in a while, you hear that? Right. So it's oh, not really working. It's intermittent. This is not an expensive switch. I think I saw it on Moss Motors for 12 bucks, something like that, but I'd have to wait for that. I'll probably order one anyway and replace it at a later date, but I'm gonna try and open this guy up and see what's inside and see if I can't fix it so that I can cry victory that the last electrical gremlin is done and edit a video to have out on Friday. Otherwise, I'll have to wait for this part to be shipped to me and then install it at a later date. So wish me luck. I'm going to open it up and see what that's about. Okay, getting that out was a little bit more trouble than I thought. I mangled it a bit, but I'm committed. Again, it's only 13 bucks, so didn't see anything super obvious, so I'm just going to clean, re-grease, clean the contacts, and put it back together, see what happens. I'll bring you right back. Okay, got some success. Works pretty good. And got it crimped over. I'm just going to install this baby. Let me bring you back. Okay, so, well, I know in the last clip I seemed super confident that I had repaired this original switch. And while I had made it super reliable, you know, I'd push this ball in and it would definitely read continuity. It wasn't until I pushed the ball in really far before it worked. So I installed it, put the wiring, you know, hooked the wiring up, still didn't work. And there were a couple of fiber washers on it, and then so I put my finger in the hole, you know, on the transmission, and no rude comments there. But I had my finger in the hole and shifted into reverse, and I could feel the linkage kind of pushing in, and you know, like it would actually come into contact with this, with the ball tip on this switch. But then I realized, oh, okay, so it actuated it this much, and that wasn't enough to make continuity. You needed to push it all the way in to get continuity on this switch. So I took this thing apart. I mangled it a bit more since the last clip, and I tried to make it functional at an earlier point on the compression of this tip. And I couldn't make it functional early enough. I'm like, ah, shit. Okay, well, let me order a new switch. So the new switch showed up today, and I'm pleased to say I haven't put it in yet. That's funny. Okay, so what's going on here? Oh, the tips were touching, sorry. The tips were coming into contact here. So let me back these out a little bit. And a very small push on this tip causes continuity. So I'm extremely pleased to see this. I'm very sure this is going to work. I'm barely pushing this in. Definitely, I think this is going to work. So I'm going to screw this into the transmission, connect the wires, and I'll bring you back. But I'm feeling very positive about this switch working for me. So let me bring you back. All right, I had that switch installed. As you can see, the reverse lights are off. I've got the key in the on position, and I don't know if this is gonna focus or not, but got the switch installed. Yeah, you have to trust me. I don't think that's, I don't know if that's in focus, but that's installed. And here's the gear shift lever. Boom, reverse. And wah-bam, reverse lights. Woohoo! Fixed, done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I think that's my last electrical issue to deal with. Let me bring you back. Well, that's it. Everything's working, at least as far as I can remember. We fixed a bunch of little things, and that concludes the wiring installation. I want to thank Steve from Advanced Auto Wire. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something, because I know I did. Bye.